Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of Animated Awesome, the host of Zenorama, the podcast of Heroes and Monsters, the co-host of GD Splanations. You can find that by putting GD Splanations into the search bar at YouTube, and it's a plethora of wonderful episodes, new and coming out today even. But we are saying goodbye today to the Lovely Angels, aka the Dirty Pair. This is the series finale. It's the last 3 episodes. Well, last aired episode, and then the 2 OVAs they did to round it out. For some reason, I don't think they had the ratings they thought they might get, which I can understand, really. We'll talk about it a little bit. These are some fun episodes. Well, yeah, I'd say they're fun. And by this time, we know the girls. We know most of the characters. Chief Ghoulie, his assistant Calico, and Mugi and Namo. It's been fun. It's been a fun run. But having said all that, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the series. Let me know what you'd like to see on Thursday, because I've got 2 choices for live action. I'm not 100% sure just which one I'm going to choose. Either returning to one of the earliest ones or a whole different one in a whole different country even. So, now let's roll. So we start out right away with a brutal murder. The salesman serial killer. The angels, of course, are sent in to find him. As far as we know, we don't think Chief Ghoulie has another plan in mind now, do we? There's some notes here which make sense except for one thing. We'll discuss that. Living in a condo is a dangerous place to live. So they're back. This just said title. That was all there was here. I don't know who subtitled these, but you know what? They did it, and they're pretty good for the most part. Kay and Yuri are having a disagreement about this bird who eats sweets, which will come into play in a future episode coming up. So, yeah, what's the chief thinking? I think he's trying to kill him. So, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, only goes after beautiful women. They get a laser knife salesman who wants them to buy them. So they keep getting people knocking on their door. This gentleman is kind of handsome, but he's right out of girls' comics. He's also a thief. The Madonna, yeah. So he goes in and tries to steal the girls. And Yuri just literally gives him a boot to the head. So if for such a strange, and it does start out with a brutal murder and bloody. And this kid has got fake eyes. He hates the angels because they remind him of his mother. So, and then now we've got 3 people. Now we've got 4. Detective there that is saying we're looking for the angels. So anyway, Androsa City, that they're listening to the news here. But suddenly he realizes who they are. And Yuri's hassling Kay. And this is the problem: is it's the chessboard is the key. The N must be for night. It's not. Phonetically, yes, and I'm assuming that's just a language barrier problem, because they don't do that in Japan. The K and the N don't go together. They just wouldn't. They don't. So, and the game is so somebody here is a killer. And Yuri's pretty smart. I mean, she's definitely got some more brains than Kay. And she feeds a story about the bird who goes after this guy, who is the killer. Freddy Krueger hands fly out. Kay blocks it with the laser knife. Yuri shoots him and stuns him. And that's it. He has a twin brother. So that was kind of out of left field, but it's all right. And this is how it ends, killing all those women just to play a sick game of chess. How pathetic! And they are not wrong. These angels. So this is how we start. Unfortunately, it's Yuri's out on a date, and Kay has to go out on a mission by herself, and she's having a problem fixing the air conditioning. And this guy, Yuri's making eyes at, and he's just reading a book. Lovecraft, it looks like. So he's probably trying to cast a spell, summon an old one. I didn't notice that at first. H.P. Lovecraft, of course, invented all that mythology. He did not invent the Necronomicon, though people think he did. But the book of the Mad Arab's Book of the Dead. Interesting stories. They've never been my cuppa, really, but he's got a florid imagination, and the good guys never win, ever. Except Harry Houdini got away. Yeah. Horrible, how terrible female chatterboxes are. So the boy in the mansion is a Terminator. So guess what movie we're paying homage to? Well, aside from counterfeiting. Earth. Kay tells Ghoulie and Calico that Yuri's enjoying her youth. And guess who gets sent to help Kay? And he's not good at it. And then this guy horks off Yuri by saying that the woman in the book is his ideal mate, and that's it for him. So Calico has all of these preparations ready to go because he's a superb soldier. And now Yuri comes home to the apartment and finds that Moogie is fixing the air conditioning or the heating unit. We don't even know which one. And then she's off after them. No, they're on a planet with ice, and there's a reason. Ghoulie says where they are, and this kid committed suicide because he was framed and thrown under the bus, and the parents want revenge. Kay yells at Calico quite a bit because he keeps firing massive weapons instead of not doing what he's supposed to do because he's not a field agent. So, I mean, there's the lovely angel, and I'm not exactly sure who Kay was talking to, but they actually did do a beeping sensor sound as well. So I'm not 100% crushed. No, I just apparently Japanese insults are different than the ones in English. So they want vengeance for the sun. Yeah, but they're going to kill Kay. She's strapped in like consomme, which that looks like a Russian in there. So who knows what they're trying to do? A robot, the Terminator. So they've got a robot that looks like their son. Kay's strapped in like James Bond. No, dirty pair, I expect you to die. In an easily escapable death trap while Calico is just tied up. Kay blasts the robot, and fries his "Thou shalt not harm your maker" button. So he's a Frankenstein as well as the Terminator. But they tell him where to stop him. But does that ever stop him? Right there. You could just read that there. You need to be embiggen it. There it is. And apparently, I think in Crusher Joe that he's one of the pair's son, grandson, something like that. Never seen Crusher Joe. But there's our Terminator, looking almost exactly like the Terminator. It's funny to think that in this episode, the Terminator there's only one Terminator movie. There wasn't a series. There weren't remakes. Just one. Well, unless you count Demon with the Glass Hand and or Soldier from The Outer Limits. But I am not a Svelte Gazelle. All right. Pressing right there. So Kay's seen the Terminator. So apparently 200 years in the future, it's still around. They manage to disassemble him, and they blackmail Calico. He calls him that name, and they just take him home. Okay, our final episode here, and yes, Yuri's annoyed at Kay now because Kay ate her piece of cake that she'd gotten. Kay ends up getting locked. The fire extinguisher breaks. Kay shuts herself into the refrigerator, and Yuri takes her sweet time in letting Kay out. Kay catches a cold. So that's a running thing throughout this episode. Ghoulie is down there to inspect the weapon research, and then this guy takes over and kills people because he's Looney Tunes. So this is a good final send-off. The Beauty's canon is an escape keyword. I don't have any idea what, but so Yuri's mad. Kay didn't apologize for eating there. She's got a cold. Kay is cold now because Yuri left her in the fridge. There's our demand. There's the base where the super god cannon. Apparently, it's been souped up. I don't know if he's supposed to have what that A is supposed to mean. Probably that song, Yo Yo. And there's some more diagrams. And he demonstrates the super god cannon. That's pretty impressive. Apparently, nobody was out there except for poor innocent animals. So we're doing a little of what's the thing? Ice Station Zebra? No, I don't know, where they're trying to blow up a weapons depot. They did it in Battlestar Galactica, the first run. They're pretty confident, aren't they? Even though Kay keeps sneezing and giving herself away. But they've already decided to blow the whole place up, so they're going to sneak out and rescue Ghoulie, and they decide to do that, which because they like him, apparently. And this is the only airship they could rent. And that looks suspiciously like an Ultra Hawk, doesn't it? From X7. Ultra 7. There is an Ultraman X as well, but they're not related. None of us are related. So yes, that's an Ultra Hawk. And then they're yelling at each other so loud that they get shot down. But fortunately, even they're disguised as stuffed cats and beat the stuffing out of the soldiers. And this guy thinks that it's just regular 3WA, the the dirty bear. And now Ghoulie's like, I like this. When those who come together, I thought I said those two come together, which would have made I would have used that. A fearful energy comes to life. Although Kay is not above using her charms to distract the soldiers, while Yuri is saying that they like legs and hips. Doo-wah! And then she calls her a wretch, and then she boots him to the head. And this is where Eagles dare. I was trying to see Lady Hawk. Okay, Lady Hawk, aliens. I wonder what the rest of that was. We know at least there's two of them. They really didn't do 2 hours. It takes them an hour and a half to get there. They're still yelling at each other. So that's a thing. Keep that in mind. 20 now. It's 20 minutes. But he brings the super god cannon up, and lo and behold, blammo! Because she's not going to miss at that range, and she probably wouldn't have missed 50 yards or 50 meters. They yell at him, of course. And he wants to save all this research, and they just throw him in there and launch him out. So they decide to use the super god cannon to blast a hole. Boom! And now he thinks he's dead. Kay thinks Yuri's dead, but she's Wait's a whole thing with them at this point, throughout the series. I haven't mentioned it because it's not very funny. I mean, these women are probably way more than they would look like because they're muscular and, jump around, I guess. I mean, but they decide they love each other. And that is it. That's it for the show. Now, before we go too much further, I have before we get too much further into it, it is time to decide what I'm going to review on Thursday. And I'm going to leave it up for a quick vote. We'll see who wins, right? Oops. Come on, get up here. Oh, well, anyway, I'm going to put the first choice up now, right?
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known. High on the rapids,
All right, so the first choice is the second season, and possibly third season, of Land of the Lost. I'm kind of interested in that because I haven't watched either of these seasons in ages. Or we could try this one and let me know what you think you'd enjoy.
Who are the young ones, anyway?
Well, that's rather a personal question, isn't it?
Rick,
Whenever anything explodes in this house, it's always blame Vivian.
Vivian,
Bad karma.
Neil,
I've just nailed my legs to the table.
and Mike, the young ones. Watch the comedy series from England every Sunday night at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific on MTV.
Guys, one of Vivian's socks has escaped.
That is the MTV promo for when The Young Ones aired on the network in 1986 without any commercials. So that would be 2 seasons of The Young Ones as well, because there are only 6 episodes per series. Pardon me, 2 series of The Young Ones. But let me know what you think. Young Ones, Land of the Lost. How'd you like this last 3 episodes of The Dirty Pair? All right, my fellow agents. Until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.